Today on DNVR Buffs Live, we have another blue chip recruit joining the show. Breck Kolojay shares with us what it would mean to come home and be a hometown hero for Coach Prime and the Buffs. The latest on Cederian Morgan and some more recruiting stuff, fill in the blank, and much more. Let's go. Boulder Squad! Coming to you live from the Toyota Lounge, driven by your Front Range Toyota stores. It's DNVR Buffs Live. It's another gross, rainy, nasty, not yet summer day in Denver, Colorado.
One of those days. It's weird, bro. Like 2 days in a row.
I was telling Dre when I was walking, I'm more used to the snow than I am the rain
No,
at this
for
point.
real. That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like I can count on like one or two hands how many rainy days I remember since living out here.
Yeah.
But it's been like 2 days in a row. I think tomorrow's supposed to
And
be
if
another
we
one.
we get another one.
Could be worse, though. I'm not overly complaining.
It could be worse. I mean, at least it's not freezing anymore.
Yeah, facts.
What's up, chat?
Chatsky, what's popping?
Artemis, Mo, ML Tyler, Cam, good to see y'all. Today on the show, we'll play a game of fill in the blank. We'll talk some recruiting, Cederian Morgan, Carson Sneed, a little bit of portal talk as well.
Is that a new lower third?
It
kinda
is,
fire.
new graphics.
I like that.
But we'll start today with our conversation with Breck Kolojay, another IMG kid, another local kid,
Big
Dungeon
fella.
family, and yeah, he's massive.
Big fella. Yeah, it was dope.
6'5"?
I think so, yeah. 6'5", 320, something like that, depending on whatever site you're looking at.
Need it.
Big fella, really, really impressive young man too. Really fun to chop it up with. Obviously, we talked to him about his visit over the weekend, a bunch of other stuff. Julian Lewis, kind of what he sees in Colorado right now, what he wants to see out of Colorado this fall, which I thought was very interesting as well. So a lot of good tidbits with Breck, and I'm excited for you guys to hear it.
Well, let's not waste any more time. Here's our conversation with four-star interior offensive lineman in IMG Academies, Breck Kolojay. All right, coming off of a big visit weekend for the Colorado Buffaloes, we got Breck Kolojay now joining the show, four-star interior offensive lineman from IMG. What's up, Breck? Good to meet you, man. Thanks for joining.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, of course.
Yes, sir. It's good to see you, my boy. Obviously, coming off a pretty big weekend with, we were talking to Jay Cruel yesterday, your good friend, your IMG teammate. He gave us kind of his insight, his perspective from things. But from your kind of point of view, how would you kind of describe this past weekend in Boulder for your official visit, being around the program, the coaching staff, the players, and whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, it was a really special visit, and for me, like, the way they're treating me like a priority is crazy, because now they're competing with some of the blue bloods that have been recruiting me hard, and it's always good to come back home and see my family, and see all the coaches, and it was just overall a fantastic visit, and I didn't expect anything less from them.
With that, you're obviously a Colorado, hometown kid. I'm just curious, did you grow up as CU fan? Did you grow up going to games at all? Just what's your relationship with the program just growing up here in the state?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've never really ever watched CU football games when I was younger. I've always been my parents are East Coasters, so I've always been a Pats fan. Watched Alabama when I was younger, but never really have been a CU fan. But I kind of knew about it, but I didn't know how rich the history was. And so for me, I keep learning about the program every single day. So, they have a really rich history, and I feel like what they can do in a couple of years will be special. So.
Most definitely, my guy. What do you, obviously, this recruiting staff has kind of made it an emphasis to recruit you guys from IMG. Obviously, Jordan Steen last year, Cash Cleveland as well, Alexander McPherson and London Meriter in the mix now. What do you think prepares you guys from IMG to be so ready to play right away and be impactful as true freshmen?
So like you said, the proof is in the pudding. Those guys, they're already balling out in college. And for at IMG, the way we do things is different than any other high school in the nation. The way we practice, the way our schedule is, you have to be locked in. And if you're not locked in, bye, see ya. I've been at IMG for 3 years now, and I've seen probably 4 or 5 kids who, they couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle the discipline, the structure, the competitiveness, and they ultimately ended up leaving. So, there's a sense of work, and just the proof is in the pudding. Like I said again, everyone that I played with last year is in college, and they're already with the 2s or the 1s, and they're already balling out, and they're incoming freshmen. So the way we do things is different. The way we practice, our preparation, and obviously our schedule is different too. We play the top teams in the nation.
Yeah. What you just said, basically describes Jordan Seaton. He became a Buff, was the first IMG guy to do that a couple of years ago. I'm just curious, what have those conversations been like with him, with Alex, with London about their experience so far at CU? What have you learned from them?
Yeah, so I remember when I was a sophomore, when Seaton committed, it really surprised all of us, kind of. No one expected it, which, he put CU on the map after that. But, yeah, I've talked to Seaton a couple times, and, we've been on FaceTimes and stuff with our older line coach. But, yeah, he said nothing but great things. I really want to see how the offensive line does this year and how they can run the ball and run it effectively, because that's huge for me. But, talking with Alex and London, those are my guys. I won against them every day in practice. Big emphasis of iron sharpens iron at IMG. But, they said they love it there. And, the way CU runs things is pro style. All the coaches know what it takes to go to the NFL. So.
Most definitely. Like I said, Breck, we were talking to your boy Jay Cruel yesterday, and he mentioned that a group of you guys were hanging out at Juju's house, Julian Lewis's crib, over the weekend. What was that experience like, just getting to hang with him, and kind of what were you able to just glean from him, from his experience early on these first few months here in Boulder?
Yeah, I've known Juju for a couple of years now, seen him on the recruiting trail kind of. So, it's always cool catching up with him. Just seeing his success is really impressive. And, as an offensive lineman, it makes you happy when you see that you have such a good quarterback. So for me, I definitely want to go to a school where they have that quarterback structure and foundation, because that your quarterback can trust you and you can trust your quarterback. So I feel like that relationship from offensive line to quarterback is huge, and that's already been built. So yeah,
definitely.
Breck, you're a Colorado kid. Deacon's a Colorado kid. He was out there with you guys on those OVs last weekend. Just curious, what's the appeal for maybe you and him, or maybe just you, to be a hometown hero? Consider Colorado in your recruitment this far at the stage we're at right now.
Yeah, if they get me and Deacon, that would be a really big win for them. I have no clue where I'm at with my recruitment right now. I don't really have top schools. I don't have a list. I have schools that I like, that I know I want to take visits to. All the schools I'm taking official visits to are all contending in my recruitment. So Colorado's obviously contending in my recruitment, and they've been trending upwards for me ever since my visit. But yeah, that would be a huge get, and they just got to keep on the gas pedal, and we'll see what happens.
I asked Jake this when we spoke to him a couple of days ago, but what is it that you're looking for, for the school that you want to commit to, spend the next 3 to 4 years after this season at? What is it that you're really looking for when these schools are trying to recruit you?
Big culture is big. Somewhere where, if coaching changes happen, stuff happens, shit hits the fan, excuse my language, but they can, that they're steadying the boat. So, nothing ruins cultures. Everybody lifts each other up. And a huge thing I'm looking for as a recruit is, what's the school's plan with me? Where do they see me playing? How do they see me developing into? what type of player do they think I am? So it's just kind of questions that I've had answered throughout my recruiting process, and culture, and then obviously I want to know what the locker room is like. I want to fit into a locker room. I don't want it to be negative energy. I feel like every good locker room is competitive and also loving at the same time. They're your brothers, and I learned that a lot going to IMG because I came here knowing no one, and I've created brothers for life just from my relationships and process throughout the IMG Academy. But yeah, like something like that.
For sure. Breck, you mentioned there kind of in their answer there just about the plan, right? The plan that a program has for you. And I was listening to your appearance yesterday on Matt McChesney's pod. Shout out 6-0 Academy, who I know you do a lot of great work with. But you were talking a little bit about that in terms of the plan. You really like that they kind of had a plan laid out for you. And I think you mentioned that involved playing center. What was kind of your just thoughts on their plan for you, potentially you playing center and whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, they see me as an interior offensive lineman, mainly center, just because the way I command the game. Like, for me, really, I know everything. I know my stuff. And I've said this before. You probably heard I'm the smartest player in my class at offensive line. It's not just physical, but it's brain. And that's the number one thing that, really talented players, some that will affect them from playing early. They just don't have the brains.
Yeah.
So for me, I understand football really well. And the leader of the offensive line is a center. So that's why they see me there. But honestly, they told me I could play all five.
Most definitely.
Love that. Obviously you train with Matt. I'm sure you've learned a lot from him, but I'm just curious, who have been like your mentors throughout this process? And also, who do you watch like on film? Who do you try to mold your game off of?
Yeah, my mentors throughout this process would definitely be my family, mom and dad. My parents are always holding me to the highest standard. That's just how I was raised. I wasn't raised in a soft household. Everything I had to do, I had to earn something. But I think for them, holding me to that standard has kind of created me to the man who I am today. I'm nowhere near my ceiling yet, but I can get a glimpse of what I can do just by the hard work and the process and God's gift and all that stuff. But yeah, that's what I would really say. And what I model my game after is I really watch a lot of players. I really love Zach Martin, the way he plays, his tenacity, his technique. I really like Quinn Miners for the Broncos, Linderbaum, a couple other guys. But I try to watch those guys and just the speed of the game they play at, with the technique they play at, and the anger and the violence they play at is really what I model my game after.
Love that.
Most definitely. Breck, Colorado's offensive line coaching situation is a bit unique, right? Because they have multiple kind of coaches leading that room. Obviously, Gunnar Wright, Andre Gerard as well. What are kind of your thoughts on that kind of juxtaposition of that offensive line room in terms of the coaching staff? Like, how do you kind of see that potentially being an asset to have, more than one guy to be able to kind of bounce ideas off of and kind of learn from?
Yeah, I mean, the experience in that room is they all have a ton of experience, whether it's coaching experience or playing experience. So I feel like just getting different views of football, and not even football, but life too. They've all been through life experiences from, three different people. That's pretty special, and that's something you don't really see at the next level. But, for me, like, I love how they utilize the different drills they teach. They all, they all sprinkle the infield with their own type of drills. And, I want to see how they do this season, like I said again, but I want to see how they utilize that 3-0 line coach system. And I've seen a little, and or my parents have seen a little, because I was there before they hired Coach Dre. But I definitely, they said it was all good, but yeah, it's a cool system how they utilize those three coaches.
Yeah.
Breck, you obviously have a busy summer. I mean, you came to Colorado on that OV. You got a few more coming up. I'm just wondering, they going to be able to get you back out here for a game this fall?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a possibility. I don't really have a timeline to commit yet. It's just, whenever it feels right, it feels right. But that definitely could be a possibility. I'll just have to see with my schedule. But, as of now, ain't nothing wrong with a trip back home to see the family and go to a Buffs game. So
love it. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And you're going to have a good time too. So We love that, bro. I think that's all we got for you.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you hopping on. Best of luck with your recruitment and everything. And hopefully we'll see you out here soon, man.
Definitely.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Good seeing you,
Thanks,
Breck.
man.
Appreciate you,
Take
bro.
care. There it is. Likes in the chat for Breck Kolojay joining the show.
Yes, sir.
Was a good conversation. Let's dig in, though, on the other side of this break. Shout out to our friends over at Coors Light. It's the off season.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to chill. What better way to chill with a Coors Light right next to you? Even on cold, rainy days, bro.
Yeah.
It just hits, especially when you get home from work. Got to unwind a bit. Got to grab a Coors Light. You can get Coors Light basically anywhere they sell beer, or just come hang out with us at the DNVR bar. The Nuggets are still running. They're still going in the NBA playoffs. We're going to have a few more watch parties. So come in, hang out with us. Tailgate season will be here eventually, and we'll be able to crush many, many Coors Lights under the flat irons. Make the most out of the times you choose to chill. Choose Coors Light. Get it delivered straight to your door. Visit CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
And shout out to the squad over at Toyota, man. It's been too damn long since I've been inside the friendly confines of a Toyota, and boy, do I miss it, man. And I got something for y'all. Toyota got something for y'all, man. Let's drive into the playoffs with Toyota with their Drive to the Playoffs giveaway. Enter now for your shot at winning incredible prizes, including playoff tickets, a private suite experience for you and your friends, a flyaway adventure to see a Nuggets playoff game on the road, or a chance to drive away in an all-new epic 2025 Toyota 4Runner. Link is in our description. Don't miss out on the opportunity to be a part of the Nuggets playoff frenzy. Drive to the playoffs with your Front Range Toyota stores: Auto Nation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Englewood, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is a proud partner of the Denver Nuggets and the official Denver vehicle of DNVR and the DNVR Buffs podcast.
Yeah, Cam and Shelly, you're right. I mean, those IMG kids are different. In regards of it being part of their curriculum, I think I would imagine something like that. I mean, you're in a basically college prep school. That's when George came here, George Hegeman.
For sure.
He came here as like director of, what was it, community engagement and leadership, something like that. Right, and I think he did a lot of stuff like that. We had him on our show ahead of the Arizona game. I guess you weren't there for that one, but I think we had him on if you want to go check that out. Anyways, lots to get into there. We can talk Julian being a hometown kid. He's also really taking his time with his recruitment, it seems. He's not rushing things.
Yeah, I mean, let's start out the gate. Like his first answer, right? He was talking about the visit, calling it a really special one. Mm-hmm. And, out the gate, he goes like, they're treating me like a priority.
He is a priority. I can tell you that.
You can see the smile on his face. Like, they're treating me like a priority, and they're competing with the blue bloods who have been recruiting me hard. That's what Breck Kolojay said, and he's right. I mean, obviously, the schools that are involved in him, he was just in Oklahoma for an official visit last month. He's going to be in Miami the first week of June, Georgia the week after that, Tennessee the week after that. Texas and USC are all really involved in his recruitment as well. So he won line when he said Colorado's competing with the Blue Bloods, but Colorado is squarely in the mix. If you really listen to what Breck is talking about, what he's looking for, and what he wants in his college destination, and to me, it starts with the quarterback. You saw Breck Kolojay smile on his face right there when he was talking about Julian Lewis, who somebody that he's known for a few years now.
That was an interesting nugget too.
Right. I thought that, that might have been their first time meeting, and at least in person. I'm sure they knew of each other, but let Breck tell it, they've known each other for a few years, which makes sense, seeing each other on the recruiting trail.
Well, let's not forget, Julian reclassified. This is his class this year. So these are the guys that are his age that, potentially you go to camps and stuff, like you hang out with. Like
100%.
This is the class that you're really going to cash in. Maybe the one after too, but this one especially, that you're really going to cash in on guys who have a relationship with Julian.
That's a good point. Like, these kids in this 2026 class, they're Julian's contemporaries. They're his age. And, Breck, a quote that he said there in the interview, he was like, I definitely want to go to a school where they have that quarterback structure and foundation, because you know that your quarterback can trust you and you can trust your quarterback. That's important to him. He has made that clear. And why wouldn't it be? You're on the offensive line, like he mentioned, that quarterback offensive line kind of rapport has to be on point if you want to be successful as an offense. And that gets built this time throughout the recruiting time. It doesn't get built a week before the season or in summer camp. It gets built in the off season, years before you finally get to your destination, your college destination. So, Breck also says that I feel like that relationship from offensive line and quarterback is huge, like I said, and that's already been built. They have already built that rapport, that relationship. Jake told us that Jake Cruel told us that they were hanging out at Julian's house over the weekend. Like really locked in, real bro stuff.
Yeah, just hanging out,
just
man.
Being the bros, you feel me? Like and shout out to Julian for that too. You know what I'm saying? Like that is a mature thing to do for such a young man. And I think that's going to pay dividends. Him taking that initiative, I'm sure is going to stick in Breck Kolojay's mind, in Deacon Schmidt's mind, and Jake Cruel's mind potentially. You know what I'm saying? So that was awesome to see.
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of build on that, I guess the sense is Breck just wants to play for a program that has quarterback figured out.
Exactly.
That, he knows he can go to a program that's going to score points, they're going to move the football, and he just has to literally worry about doing his job, and the offense will be able to produce. And, of course, you produce, more eyes, more draft buzz. It leads to, meetings with scouts and all that stuff. So,
for sure.
And it's also key why we've been hammering home this offseason, Oscar Rios recruiting these quarterbacks for Colorado. And there's another one we're going to talk about today a bit later on here. But that's why it's so important to keep getting those quarterbacks in there and, high-ranking quarterbacks too, so that the quarterback room looks healthy to guys like Breck and any other recruits who are, especially offensive line-wise, but damn near any other position. I can just go do my job. I don't have to worry about a quarterback holding us back, basically.
100%. And another reason why the quarterback spot is so important to a guy like Breck Kolojay, it's not just because he plays offensive line. It's because he's being recruited, at least by Colorado, to play center. That center quarterback relationship and rapport has to be even stronger than the rest of the offensive alignment. And that has already been built between Breck Kolojay and Julian Lewis. And that was another thing that Breck talked about too. He was like, I want to know what a school's plan is for me. How do they see me developing? How do they see me as a player? And again, Breck told us there that Colorado's recruiting staff sees him as a center, which I personally love. I think he has the perfect size for it. And like Breck mentioned there too as well, dude is ultra smart. His football IQ is off the charts. Like that is quite literally the reason why Cash Cleveland started games for Colorado as a true freshman and became a freshman All-American. It's not because that boy is 6'3", 330-plus pounds, because he's not.
Right.
It's because he knows where to go on every play. He knows how to get people in the right direction, moving. And he's a leader. That's what Breck Kolojay is. So I like that the recruiting staff has made it clear to him how they see him, what position they want him to play. And it seems like Breck is obviously cool with that. And he mentioned there, too, that like they also see him as a guy who can play all 5 positions. But they want to start him at center. And again, with Cash Cleveland, who was ostensibly your center of the future, now at Texas Tech, there isn't really a center of the future on this team right now.
Most definitely.
Aside, unless, you consider Yo-Yo Atia that, which is a potential. He could potentially be that. But Jared McGill is obviously, I believe, a senior, if not a junior. So
I think he was a grad,
Yeah, it's probably a grad. So Breck Kolojay would be a massive get, obviously, and he's going to be a tough get as well. But I think there's plenty of reason for optimism in terms of the IMG connections, the Julian Lewis connections, him literally being from Colorado connections,
right?
Having friends who have already been to Colorado, gone to Colorado. I'm talking about Alexander McPherson and London Merritt.
Yeah, former teammates.
Got to Colorado as early enrollees and have had success. So, like I said, it's obviously going to be a long battle because, again, he's not trying to make a decision anytime soon either. He's going to wait this out as he should. And one other thing I want to hop in here too. Maybe the most important thing I think Breck said there today in that interview is that he wants to see how this season goes.
Yes.
He wants to see how this fall goes, particularly, he says, I really want to see how the offensive line does this year and how they can run the ball and run it effectively, because that's huge for me.
Offensive linemen want to run the ball.
Period.
Yeah.
And if they don't see you trying to run the ball or even being good at running the ball as a unit, why would you come there? If you're a 4 or 5, why would you go to that place? So it's going to be really imperative for this 2025 season, out the gate, starting week 1, for there to be a real emphasis on the running game. Not because it's going to help you win games and help you be more consistent offensively, but because it's going to help you potentially get some of these blue chip offensive linemen in your program, which is quite literally what you need.
Spot on, bro. Last thing that I'll say about the interview is what a move by Colorado to bring Breck in, not just with his IMG teammate. Bring another Colorado kid in, Deacon Schmidt,
Facts.
in too. Drive home the hometown hero thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he kind of lit up a little bit when I asked him that question. Like,
Yeah.
he's definitely thinking about it. I think Deacon's definitely thinking about it
For
too.
sure.
And Colorado's making them a priority. It's different when you're like a hometown hero in college, right? Like,
yeah.
you already kind of come in, everyone knows who you are, they're excited for you. So it'd be massive, not only just to get one of them, but if you get both of them and they help turn around that offensive line, as he said, if you get both of us, that'd be a
Scary.
great get.
Scary sight. I mean, that would be your offensive line in the future right there.
For sure.
Those two guys, along with Seat and Chauncey Gooden and Carday Smith, like you really cooking with gas if you can land those two guys.
It's
And I
starting
think it's a
to look pretty
possibility.
good, bro.
Yeah. For sure.
All right, real quick on Cederian Morgan. He's coming in for his OV this weekend. He is one of the top-rated wide receivers in the class of 2026. He's a top 15 player in the class of 2026. And I'm pretty sure... No, he doesn't. Okay. I thought he had the last visit. Colorado's kicking off his official visit slate this weekend for the summer for him. But Tom Loy of 247 Sports just wrote a little bit about his recruitment. He said, Colorado, led by Coach Deion Sanders, are a legitimate threat in Morgan's process. The Buffaloes have long been considered a serious player in the recruitment, and his interest is genuine.
Period.
He's gotten quite a few crystal balls to Alabama and Auburn, where he's from. Sounds like he really does prioritize, being close to his family and just, being somewhere familiar, which you can't blame him for. So maybe it's a bit more uphill for the Buffs in that regard, but they are in at this point. He's narrowed it down to what I think 6 schools that he's going on OVs on this weekend or this summer. Sorry, Colorado, Georgia, Clemson, Florida, Auburn, Alabama. So we'll see.
I mean, this is a 5-star wide receiver in every sense of the word. I mean, absolutely electric type of football player. And again, like your guy Tom Lloyd just said, I think the interest from Cederian Morgan in Colorado is really legit. Back in February, he said, I'm looking forward to meeting their coaching staff and feeling their energy. They're sitting as one of the tops in my recruitment. That was almost over 2 months ago, and clearly he still kind of feels that way. So Cederian Morgan, man, that would be a massive, massive game. He's also taken. Did you mention his other official visits? Yeah,
The 5 other ones.
That's a good company to be in.
No
you know
doubt.
what I'm saying? So this weekend is shaping up to be another really important, potentially really big recruiting weekend.
It is.
And Cederian Morgan is going to be another 5-star who will be in Boulder. And again, there's another real shot, I think, for Colorado to land this really impressive young man.
We got 3 big visit weekends this summer, really. Obviously, last weekend, this weekend, and then in June when Oscar Rios and a bunch of other guys come to town. What's up, Adam? Chat, get your questions in now. We're going to play fill in the blank, and then we will get to whatever y'all want to talk about, really. Last thing on recruiting, Carson Sneed, the tight end from Tennessee. He's committed to Tennessee. We talked a bit more about him, I think, earlier in the offseason. He's a 4-star player from Nashville, top 300 player. He has been committed to Tennessee since last August, so closing in on a year with him. But he was scheduled to come to Colorado for an OV and a few other places. He's decided to cancel. I'd imagine he's pretty set on Tennessee, if anything, at this point.
Yeah, I think I saw North Carolina's pushing 2 recently, so it's probably going to stay with Tennessee, and if not, go play over old Bill Belichick.
It makes sense, though. I mean, Colorado has been, and Brett Bartoloni have really been hammering the recruiting trail for these tight ends.
sure.
Gavin Mueller's been a big one.
Yeah.
There's a few others,
Julius
too.
Miles is supposed to be here this
Yep,
weekend.
Julius Miles this weekend. So there's a handful of them. And while they were in on Carson Sneed, appears they're just going to look elsewhere. And it seems like they're doing okay in that department still
I think
anyways.
so.
All right, let's take our next break. Then we'll play in some fill in the blank. Shout out to the homies over at Empire today. Nothing more important in sports than a home field advantage, right? Should be like that for damn near everything. Take care of your home. Take care of, I guess, your home business, too. If you need new flooring, hit up our friends over at Empire today. Don't go to those big box department stores. You got some guy working on, I don't know, sinks, plumbing, and then you're going to have him help you with your floors? Come on, man. Go to the pros who know exactly what they're doing. Live and breathing flooring. You can schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at home. And DNVR listeners can receive a $350 discount when using that promo code DNVR. Again, you'll get a $350 discount with promo code DNVR. Some restrictions apply. Visit Empire today/DNVR for full details.
Artemis, get your questions in the chat. We got you, I promise. As always, shout out to all the squad over at UC Health, man. Health is of the utmost importance. I cannot overstate that. I've personally kind of been kicking it up, I would say, maybe the last month and a half in the gym lately. I feel like this might be the best shape that I've been in, maybe the best physically
Congrats,
I've felt,
Scotty.
probably since I've been playing college football. So it's important, man. Obviously, the physical goes hand in hand with the mental health as well. So whether it's talking to somebody professional or personal, we got to put ourselves out there and make sure that we're taken care of mentally, physically, because health is wealth. And the DNVR Buff Show is brought to you by UC Health, the official healthcare partner of the Colorado Buffaloes. Learn more about living like there is a tomorrow. Go to uchealth.org for more info. UC Health, live extraordinary. Shout out to UC Health.
All right. What's up, Travis? We will have time to answer questions. So, yeah, definitely get your questions in. Let's play fill in the blank, though. We got 5 of these for you, Scotty. Kind of more overarching college football, Big 12 stuff.
Okay.
This week. And we'll start with the Heisman Trophy. Blank is my way too early pick for the 2025 Heisman Trophy. Who you going with, bro? I've got some odds right here if you need some help. Of course, the quarterbacks are going to be sitting up at the top.
Where's Nussmeier on that?
He's number 1. Plus 800.
Wow.
Tied with Arch Manning. Plus
That's
800.
That's my pick, though.
Okay.
I think LSU's going to be – I mean, they went crazy in this portal. Mm-hmm. And Nussmeier can play. And obviously, Heisman voters are going to have a little bias towards SEC play. I think Nussmeier's a really good pick.
He had some moments last year, man. I mean, some people were talking him up as a potential first-round player last year. I didn't quite see it, but I did see the arm talent. I mean, he threaded the needle on some throws. So he's an exciting one.
So he's the co-favorite with Arch Manning, bro?
So these are older odds. Like, I tried to find updated odds. These are odds from March.
I wonder what the cope is going to be when, like, when Arch Manning goes out there and, like, he just looks like, oh, yeah, this is his first year playing college football. Yeah. I think Arch Manning is a good football player, and I think he's going to be a really good football player. So he might already be one.
Sure.
But it's a little premature for him being a favorite to be the 2026 Heisman Trophy winner.
This list is from April, just about 3 weeks ago, and it still has Garrett, Nussmeier, and Arch Manning tied at plus 800.
Crazy. Is Lagway on there?
Lagway is listed at plus 1,600, along with three other players, including the player I'm going to pick, which is Lenora Sellers.
Yeah, man.
Give me Lenora Sellers out of South Carolina. You talk about a dual threat. He might be the best dual threat in the country.
Wasn't that LSU too that he kind of like came out? I think he went stupid. I think that was
so.
the LSU game.
I think so. But yeah, he really impressed me. South Carolina in general impressed me last year. The defensive line is nasty. He's
obviously back, right? Stewart, he's got to be, right? He didn't transfer anywhere.
Dylan Stewart, yeah, for sure. If they ended up sneaking in the playoff, I had a super long shot bet on them to win, but like I thought they legitimately could have made noise if they got into the field with that defensive line and what Sellers can do through the arm and on the ground.
I think Beamer's their head coach, right?
Yeah,
I think he's a slept-on head coach, bro.
I
thought
agree.
that for a couple years now too, and obviously it's going to be hard to get South Carolina name popping in the SEC, but I feel like he's done a really good job. Yeah, Cade Klubnik is a good one. Essence Services.
He's up there.
I'm just a bit unsure about him as a football player. He's obviously good. He can sling it. He can run too. I wouldn't call him a dual threat, but he can certainly run. And Clemson's going to be really good. They're going to be probably in that top 10.
Clemson's got a
range
roster,
all
man.
year. So they return a lot of talent. They did pretty decent in the portal as well this offseason. So Cade Klubnik, he'll definitely be in the running for sure. It's a good shout out.
So this time last year, do you know who the odds-on favorite was to win the Heisman Trophy? Or not even this time last year. This is August last year.
So right before
the season, who was the odds-on favorite to win the Heisman Trophy?
Carson Beck.
He was second, close, plus 750. The leader was plus 700.
Was a quarterback. Obviously,
He was a quarterback. He, how much of a hint do you want? His team made the CFP.
His team made the CFP. Okay, it couldn't have been. Was it Dylan Gabriel?
It was Dylan Gabriel.
Wow.
Travis was not even listed, and this list goes down to plus 4,000. So
It's crazy, man.
And this is how it usually goes.
Yeah.
I mean, the Heisman kind of comes out of nowhere.
Typically, I feel like the same the year before when Jaden Daniels won it. I feel like preseason he probably wouldn't have been on any odds list. So yeah, that's interesting.
A sneaky one that I want to throw out though. It's not the longest shot, but he's plus 3,300. John Mateer at Oklahoma.
Is that we were just talking about him yesterday?
I think so.
Oklahoma's gonna be
Earlier this
nice,
week.
bro.
Yep.
They got a really good receiver too from HBCU ranks, Javani Gibson. He is going to be. I think he's going to be a guy who explodes kind of on the Power 4 level here this fall.
Caden Salter plus 10,000, by the way. All right, next one. If you could schedule an out-of-conference home and home for CU, it would be with who? First off, Nebraska, I think everyone would have close to the top, if not number one.
For sure. I just don't want to deal with they fans. I don't want to go back to Nebraska.
That's fair.
I'm not going to lie. There's some really fundamentally wrong with Cornhusker fans. I'm not even gonna lie.
We know.
I'm not going to lie. But if I could schedule a home and home series for Colorado, it would be with the Syracuse Orange.
That's a good one.
And head coach Fran Brown.
That's a good one.
I truly believe head coach Fran Brown and Coach Prime, if they potentially get this ball rolling next spring with the spring game and their programs continue to ascend, I feel like they could be seen as like, I don't really know how to explain it, but like two of like the main figures in college football. And that would be so cool. And I feel like the programs are similar too. And I feel like Caden Salter actually mentioned this maybe a month or two ago. He was on an interview with our guy Darius Sanders, where when he was talking through his recruitment, he pretty much narrowed his recruitment down out of the transfer portal to Colorado and Syracuse. And part of the reason he said that is because he felt like those two schools were like the closest experience he could get to an HBCU.
Sure.
But still at the Power 4 level. And like that is really interesting to me if like, because it seems that way to me already, I ain't gonna lie, with Colorado in particular. I don't know all that much about Syracuse, but like that would be really cool if like Colorado and Syracuse kind of became like the Power 4 HBCU. Obviously handling the business on the football field, but just do things a little bit different than the traditional blue bloods. And I feel like Coach Prime and Fran Brown would be the perfect kind of leaders for that kind of new wave. So it would be Syracuse for me.
Shoot, I don't even know if I could top that answer, bro. FSU, everyone's going to throw out FSU as always. Oregon as well. That's what the chat's saying. I agree with those for sure. Of course, Nebraska. I'd love to see just like an SEC home and home, though. And I think we do have this coming up with Florida. But
really?
I think it's more towards the end of the decade. Okay. So it's still a while off.
Interesting.
You got a
swamp. Sheesh.
You get maybe a little taste of it with Georgia Tech. I mean, obviously they're ACC, but you have a Southern in Atlanta home and home series that you can look forward to next season. I'll throw USC in there too.
I thought about USC.
I'll throw USC.
I thought about USC just selfishly because I love to be in LA.
Sure.
Yeah, that would be cool. And the whole Juju, going against the team that he kind of flipped from would be cool.
Carday Smith too.
Yeah, Carday as well. Facts. That would be good, and I'd be on board with that for sure.
Next one, Dion. Blank is the most underrated coach in the Big 12. So we did overrated last week. Which coach are you going to put your name on and say this guy deserves some more credits? And let's start with it. Dion says Coach Willie Fritz at Houston.
Oh, man.
And I agree. What he did at Tulane, I mean, he made Tulane relevant. When's the last time Tulane was relevant in your life, if ever?
This past year.
Exactly. Well, who built that program?
Prior to Fritz. No, you're right.
Exactly. I'd definitely throw his name into the running.
I'm trying to see if I can think of another valid answer aside from Kalani Sitake. Because that's the immediate answer that comes to my mind.
I kind of want to say Sonny Dykes, too.
You know who I'm going to say? And people are going to be mad at me, but it is what it is.
Say it.
Chris Kleiman.
Okay.
Chris Kleiman, the head coach of the Kansas State Wildcats. Since he's taken over in 2019 at Kansas State, they have won at least 8 games in every single year except one. That is 6 seasons of at least 8+ wins. Mm-hmm. And he came from North Dakota State. So this isn't somebody who, came from a powerhouse previously and brought over his staff. You know what I'm saying? This guy came from NDSU, went to Kansas State immediately, 5 out of 6 seasons, won at least 8 games. And 2 of those seasons, each of the last 2, they've won 9 games. Mm-hmm. The year before that, they went to the Sugar Bowl, won 10 games, obviously with Will Howard. So Mars, chill. But Chris Kleiman is, again, we're talking underrated. Nobody talks about Chris Kleiman nationally.
Sure.
Literally nobody talks about him. So that would be my answer.
I'll put some respect on Chris Kleiman's name because Kansas State before Bill Snyder was kind of nothing, right?
Speak on it, bro.
Then Bill Snyder comes in. He completely turns that program around. Ends up leaving actually for 2 years. Has to come back because they didn't really get it, from his first tenure. Yeah. Kind of sets the standard for another 20 years after that, whatever that was. It would have been super easy for Kansas State to fall back into those depths, right?
For sure.
You lose your legendary head coach. You just can't keep that becomes just the all-time standard at Kansas State, right? But Chris Kleiman has been able to kind of live up to that. So I'm with you, Scotty. Shout out to him.
So you ride it with me, bro? That's your answer too?
I mean, I would probably throw out Willie Fritz, honestly, in terms of someone who is really being underrated and slept
Willie
on right
Fritz
now.
Gotta show me something at Houston, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. You gotta show me something. I know it's too early. I gotta see something.
You can hop on the mic, Dion. Let him know.
I gotta see something from Willie G. Hopefully I see it this year. I am gonna see it this year. We're gonna be in Houston for that, so I can't wait. I can't wait for that.
Next one.
The meatloafer in the chat back capping.
Hey, Wayne, my guy, what's up? All right, this is Buffs related. Blank is a player we aren't talking about enough for the 2025 season.
That's a good one.
First name that came to my mind doing this was Preston Hodge. I don't with how his season ended last year, that injury, didn't play in the bowl game, didn't play in a lot of the last 3 games of the season, I think.
Yeah.
It was what do you take, like a nasty, just like a body to the ankle or something in one of the games. It was like a field goal or something, right?
Sure.
Yeah. After that, the big decision to come back, like everyone celebrated that, but I feel like we've just kind of more so, I guess, accepted that as opposed to, really talked up how valuable and how important it is that Preston came back for this season. Because if they didn't have Preston and you lose Colton at this point, you're searching for answers in the cornerback room.
It would be a lot of panic amongst Buff Nation right now if that was the reality for sure. So that's a good one, man. I think Preston, and I feel like it's right because maybe you forgot about him at the end of last season with the injury,
right?
And he wasn't obviously involved with spring football this year. Still coming back from that injury, so I feel like he has kind of been slipping through the cracks amongst Buffs fans. But I mean, that's a certified starter at one of the most important positions on the defense at that nickel corner spot. And I wonder too if with Colton leaving and obviously Travis no longer there, do they keep him at nickel?
Sure.
Or do they move him outside?
Yeah.
To be opposite of DJ and have somebody else in in the nickel slot position?
I mean,
I'm curious about
with the way the roster is currently constructed, I mean, we have to see Tayon Parks, Noah King,
Right,
those guys,
exactly.
right? Like they're just unknown at this point. We don't know. But with what we know at this point of the roster, I feel like you're deeper at safety. Like I'd consider going back to what they did at the beginning of 2023. Maybe play a safety in that position with what they did with Cam and Slush.
Who would
Maybe
you put
try
there?
and bring. I don't know. I mean, whoever you think your best cover player is
For
out
sure.
of that position.
For sure.
I don't know if that's Tawfiq. I mean, you could get him closer to the line of scrimmage that way if you play him out of the nickel, but I don't think you really utilize him to his best strengths in that role also. I don't know.
I hear you on that. It's going to be interesting to see. For my entry here, somebody that we're not talking about enough. This guy plays a position that I and we have kind of put under a microscope in terms of thinking that there probably needs to be some additions there. But
Okay.
I think Reggie Hughes is somebody that we're not talking about enough. And I think you mentioned him maybe last week in terms of somebody who could potentially be a sack leader for this team that's not named Arden Walker. And I think that's interesting, right? Coming from the second level. I think somebody posted it today, reposted it back from a couple years ago when Lane Kiffin was tweeting about Reginald Hughes committing to Ole Miss. This is somebody who's played a lot of football at a high level, coming to Colorado as a grad student, JUCO tested, his last year of eligibility, 9.5 tackles for loss last year from the linebacker position, 4.5 sacks from the linebacker position last year. Obviously, first team all conference. Obviously, he step up in competition, but I think Reggie Hughes, and I've seen him flash a few times this spring as well. So I think people aren't talking enough about Reggie Hughes and his potential impact on the second level of defense because they're going to need him.
One more name I'll throw out just because I heard good things about him this spring is your guy, Chauncey Gooden.
Oh, yeah.
I heard really good things about him this spring.
Yeah.
It almost kind of reminds me of, and sorry to bring his name up, what we heard about Zach Owens, Flapjack, kind of going through last year.
For sure.
I don't know if he'll be ready as a true freshman, but I think he'll be ready sooner rather than later, Chauncey will.
You're right, King Mars. That's exactly who that was. Who posted that? How you say that?
What? Osakin?
Yeah. Is that how you say that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
No,
I
that's
look-y know.
100%. That's 100% how you say that. Do you know where he got that from?
Nope.
From the end of the first line of the national anthem. Or the start of the first line. Osakin, you see.
Sing it.
I'm not singing the national anthem for you, bro.
That's the
I'm
only
just
way I
telling-
can know. I don't know what you're talking about unless you sing it, bro. I don't know.
Osakin, you see.
Oh.
Osakin. That's where he got it from.
How you know that?
Because he said that. I don't know.
Why he spell it like that?
I don't know.
I'm
The
confused.
chat's going to tell you in about 2 seconds
Let
once
me-
it
give me
refreshes.
some,
That's where he got it
Give
from.
me some background on this, King Mars. I don't understand.
That's where he got it from.
And why? Those are 3 words. Oh, say, can. Those
Yeah,
are 3 different words. Why did he
he
just
made it
combine
one.
this into this?
I don't know.
I'm gonna have to slide in bro DM and see what's up about this.
Next one. We have one more, right? Last one, I believe. Yeah, last one. The blank are a dark horse Big 12 contender. Kind of, I'm thinking like, who's this year's ASU?
Right.
Like someone who really isn't expected to win a lot of games. What?
Houston face. No, he's not. I don't know. It would have to be somebody of that ilk, though. You know,
I'm gonna throw out a name.
I want to say. I feel like Utah applies because they were ass last year, but I'm not going to say them because. Okay, all right, they don't apply. Fair enough. Go ahead. Who's your name you're going to throw out, Jake?
I'm gonna throw out West Virginia.
Okay.
They have had one of the biggest portal makeovers in college football this season. We'll see how it plans out, or how it goes out. You know, ASU kind of did the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it took them that extra year to, build it up, kind of like Colorado too. You needed that year of flipping the roster really before you were able to reap the benefits of that. So maybe this year's a little early, but I'm just saying, watch out for West Virginia.
I'm going to say Cincinnati.
Okay.
Cincinnati played Colorado really strong this past year. And looking back recently at that game, they had some real chances to make that a lot more nervous than it was. Obviously, they're returning their quarterback, Brennan Sorsby.
Yeah, they had some good players. That tight end was good.
For sure. I think they lost their running back, but
Corey Kiner, yep.
Exactly. I kind of like what Scott Satterfield has done the last couple of years because that program was in a bad spot. And what'd they go last year? 3-6 in the conference, 5-7 overall. They ended the season losing 5 straight games. So that's not ideal. But obviously at one point they were 5-2. So
Yep.
I think Cincinnati, if I had to choose a team that could truly kind of sneak up and surprise some people, I think it'd be the Bearcats.
I don't think Baylor counts personally.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think they're going to get some. I think they'll be voted like top 4 coming into the season.
That would be surprising.
Really?
I think so.
They have one of the best quarterbacks in the conference.
Bro, you got to think top 4, Arizona State and BYU are going to be there.
Sure.
Iowa State's probably going to be there.
Okay. And then what, Utah and probably after that Baylor for me. Colorado, of course, too. But Colorado's not going to.
Right, they're not going to be voted in the top
Yeah.
4. Yeah, maybe you're right. It would be a bit surprising, but not because I don't think they're top 4 caliber, because I don't think the national media would be on that. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. I don't know. I just think that people are going to see the quarterback and they're just going to attach Baylor strictly to Sawyer Robertson and just go, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the conference. They're going to be up on the predictions.
SN Services, what's your pick if I'm off my game with Cincinnati? We talking about dark horse, so we're talking about a team who wasn't good last year, who could potentially be good this year. Let me hear your answer.
Right, like if you say any of those teams we just mentioned, like ASU, BYU, Baylor,
Like if you hit me with
if
Texas,
you hit Texas Tech,
I'm
no,
finna-
that does not
I'm
count.
like, stop playing.
No, you need to hit me with like a Oklahoma State,
Exactly.
a
UCF.
Kansas, UCF. Yeah, exactly. That's it, right? There you go. It's fill in the blank. All right, we got some time. Let's answer some questions. Did you get Artemis? Artemis, drop your questions, bro. We got you. What's up, Ivan? What are you gonna say?
Drop questions about anything. Anything. I'm in that mode today.
Ivan's asking, who's a sneaky flip candidate for Coach Prime and company in the 2026 cycle, besides Chris Henry Jr.? I'm trying to think of guys recently who have
Yeah, I
visited
know.
who were committed.
I was gonna say I'm not sure about that one. I'll divert to you on that.
Man, flip candidates?
I can't really think of like guys who like Colorado is in on in the 2026 class that have already.
Let's go, SN Services. Tell them Houston.
Now I'm even more convinced Houston gonna be ass again this year. Now I know for sure.
I don't know. I'm sorry, Ivan. I can't answer that. I don't have a good
question.
answer right now.
Yeah.
It is a really good question, though. What's up, Adam? I keep hearing the Buff scholarship numbers are low. Should we be worried going into the season? No. Coach Prime doesn't ever fill up his scholarships. He explained this. I can't remember where it was on recently. Or maybe he told us in a press conference.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think it was that. I think he was asked about it at a press conference, and he said that, like, you know, you with the portal these days, you never know when like a grad transfer is just going to jump in the portal. You know, kind of like Juju Mitchell in 2023.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember him.
I don't, but you want that extra room in case like that something happens.
Yeah.
You don't want somebody to pop up and you want and be like, damn, we're out of spots.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yep.
No, you want that flexibility for sure. So no, you should not be worried, Adam.
Yeah. The Buffs are they're healthy right now when it comes to scholarship players. I wouldn't worry about that. CU Buffs 35 says, when does the summer workouts and practice begin? Miss seeing the guys already. You're telling me, bro. We've got a long time.
Yeah.
A long time.
At least 2 months.
Shoot,
At
get
least 2 full
comfortable.
months.
Take up a new hobby, go golfing, play some video games. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
What are you doing this offseason to pass the time?
What am I personally doing?
Yeah.
This season? Cooling it, bro. I'll be chilling.
Just checking
know
out
me.
Colorado.
Yeah.
We got some plans, content-wise, but
What about you? What you be doing?
Not much, bro.
This like off season 3 for you, ain't it?
This is off season 3 for me.
Off-season, right?
Yeah. Not much. I mean, I really kind of try to, especially, after the show and after the morning, I try to tune out a lot.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know, video games, gym, stuff like that. Going home. So nothing crazy.
I might have to hit up our friends over at Volo and see if I can get into some
play some all-time quarterbacks.
Yeah, you feel me? Some recreational activities.
What's up, Ivan? Again, are there any updates coming to any of the athletic facilities for CU in the near future? We need to keep up with the big boys. CU still has great facilities. They have really good facilities, actually. I mean, you can speak on it if you want to, Dion, but I mean, yeah, put the mic on, Dion. What do you think needs to? Because you were there, 2 or 3 years ago at this point now. Is it working? What would you change about the building? What do you think the building needs to improve on?
I mean, I don't really think anything because we have the cold pools, like the cold tub, hot tub pools. We got everything we need in the locker room. Locker room's nice. Bathroom's nice. Shower's nice. The hospital's right upstairs. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of schools don't have that yet.
Crazy.
Like even when I was at BYU, like it was cool. The facility was nice, but for one, I had to leave to go to the hospital. We had to go down the street, or we had to do stuff like that. To where it was like, okay, it could be a little bit better, but I don't think nothing needs to change. Maybe like new locker formats, because now these new lockers you can like fully sleep in them.
Right.
But like anything else, I don't think so.
For sure.
There you go. What's up, Shelly? What happened to all the criticism for coaches going to the portal like Coach Prime did in his first season? So it is a regular thing now? Absolutely it is. Absolutely. I mean, like I just said earlier, West Virginia, they've had a 30-player turnover. Have you heard anything about that? Disgruntled players going to, big outlets for interviews, major outlets for interviews? You heard that?
No. Can't say that.
Of course not.
They wilding right now. I'm sorry. I was really listening to you, bro.
What are they doing?
Chat tweaking right now. That's what I was looking at. But I mean, yeah, that's just part of the game, man. We all know that Coach Prime held to a different standard, and somebody could do something quite literally exactly the same, or maybe even potentially worse. And I got to chill. I asked for it though, so I can't even be mad. DJ Flame, what's poppin', my boy? We're not there yet. Are we there yet?
Y'all are wild, bro. Go ahead, bro.
DJ Flame, $4.99 super chat. Shout out to you. He goes, "What's up, y'all? F them Chiefs. I hate that I'm unable to always catch the live due to
work." Read it on the right.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I know I always watch after I get off work.
And that's why you a real one, DJ Flame.
Yeah, you are a real one, DJ Flame. Appreciate you, bro. He's got more too.
$19.99 super chat from DJ Flame Room. All the people who want to recruit top talent but get mad when they commit elsewhere, remember the transfer portal. It allows people to leave, and just because they don't come here first doesn't mean they won't come at some point. Pause. Facts though. It's kind of what we were talking about yesterday near the end of the show, bro. We're like,
yes,
y'all gotta let these kids do what they either support or just chill out.
Yes,
just relax.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, telling these kids, oh, they're not coming here, and posting about that where they can see, like, there's no way you're doing anything positive to help that situation. So, well said, Kevin. Again, in the transfer portal era nowadays, too, with these high school kids, they go elsewhere. Doesn't mean that they can't end up in your school.
Sure.
In a year from now, 2 years from now. They might not even get it out till spring.
No king. Exactly.
Before in the portal. So, is what it is.
East Coast Kev, sorry. Great show today, brothers. Thank you for everything you do. I'll wait until RK gets back to crash out again. We appreciate that. Thank you, Kev. Always appreciate you, bro. DJ Flame again. Lastly, shout out to both of y'all for holding it down during the draft. Hearing Scott talk Bears during the Broncos pod gave me life. Jake was working, but the guy in the pod with you and Dre was annoying. Put some respect on Hank's name, bro. Respect Hank. That's my guy.
Appreciate you, Flame.
But appreciate you for tuning in, man.
Bear down.
It was a lot of fun. That was it could have been better.
Hell yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. Is that it? Alrighty, chat. That is it. We are gonna see you tomorrow. You got anything else?
Potentially a guest tomorrow or Friday.
Ooh.
Potentially both days.
All right. I just found that out.
Stay tuned.
See you tomorrow. Let's go Buffs.
We all silly like the mayor.